Hi, I'm Marky.
And I'm Freddy.
Welcome to another week of deals. Our promise is to help you find the best games at the best possible price. We already did the search for you and looked into various retailers to help you find the best deals.
For this week, we found good deals at Best Buy and Microsoft Store, and we looked into Target and GameStop, but we did not find good deals that are worth mentioning. Before we start, please remember to give us a like if you enjoy the video, subscribe, and click the bell icon for notification. It will help our channel grow, and it will help you get the best deals as soon as we publish them. All right, with that being said, let's get started.
People have been looking for a game that has the same spark that Fallout New Vegas had. Recently, while the most recent Fallout games have been fun, Fallout 76 is getting better, by the way, the amount of freedom and options you had in New Vegas were almost unparalleled. Well, I got great news for you. Not only has the original developer come back with a new game that has the same charm, but it's also at a new low price. The Outer Worlds is over at Amazon, normally sitting at $60, but you can grab it for just $19.99. Obsidian is back with an open world RPG. While it's not a Fallout game, it's unmistakable as an Obsidian game. Multiple factions to side with, characters and party members to love or hate, wacky weapons to use on your enemies, and a lot of great writing to really invest in. It's hard to mimic the same experience when a new game isn't a part of the old franchise like Fallout. But trust me when I say that this game has what you want and so much more. In fact, the success of the game has paved the way for a sequel in the near future. So you can get the jump on the start of a great franchise for as little as $20. Highly recommended. Go check it out.
The next game we have for this week is Metro Exodus at Best Buy for $7.50, dropping all the way from its regular price of $25. The story is about the protagonist who insists that there is life outside the tunnels and believes that there are humans alive in the outside world. The game takes place in 2036, which is 2 years after the second game. But don't worry, you don't have to play any of the previous games to understand the story, but you will feel more attached and related to the characters if you play the previous two games. And both of them are great, by the way. You should play 2033, then Last Night, then Exodus, as that's the order of the games. The good thing I'll mention about this game is finally you have a change in the environmental setting. What I mean is that previous games will take place entirely in either the tunnel or snow areas outside. However, this is the first time we have desert area, forests, and swamps. This change in the environment wasn't only for making the game look better, but also to change your style of play. For example, each environment has different monsters and different enemies that will require different weapons to use to take them down. On top of that, the environment might affect your vision and your mobility. Morning and night will also change the type of enemy that you will encounter, but you got the idea. But don't worry, with all these changes, the game kept its substance that rely on keeping you on your toes every time you try to enter a new tunnel in the dark. There is a constant feeling that you need to survive and that the enemies are watching you or close to you. Also, a new addition to the game is the ability to utilize chemicals and other tools to build air filters, bullets, and grenades. And also, instead of taking the entire enemy weapons that we see in a lot of the games, now you can take a specific piece that you need from the enemy's weapon and use it to upgrade your own. The game might take you 15 hours to finish, but the main downside I have is the long loading time, even though I was playing it on the Xbox One X at the time. However, this issue can be solved if you're playing on the next generation consoles, and maybe with the future patches. At this price, it's a great game to have, and this is the lowest price we have seen for this game.
Elliot's back, everybody. He had to hear about the latest deals coming out, and I got quite a surprise for him now. This one is over at Amazon again, but this is for a game that maybe even he can't handle, and maybe some of you. It's going to be Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, specifically the Game of the Year edition over at Amazon for $39.99 when it used to be $60. Sekiro is from the developers of Dark Souls, From Software to be specific. Now, I know what you're thinking, and yes, the game is extremely difficult. And heck, it might even be one of the most frustrating ones out there compared to Dark Souls. But I think what people will find interesting is the way the combat and maneuverability work in this game. It's obviously more Eastern inspired, taking a lot of Japanese culture and stuff, but still having that really gritty, dark, almost gothic feel. But whereas a lot of Dark Souls gameplay focuses on kind of dodging mechanics and just precise placement to kind of get your best shots in, Sekiro operates more on a combat heavy focus. And the big instance is with parrying, being able to take an enemy's attacks and kind of block it or parry it, counter it with a strike of your own. And with the way the movement options work of being able to kind of double jump and fling yourself around to different buildings and rooftops, it gives you so many more options than just a standard knight in heavy armor would be able to give you. So it has while it has that Dark Souls difficulty, it's got a style all of its own. And heck, you'll find people who prefer Sekiro over to Dark Souls games, or people who prefer Dark Souls to Sekiro. But I want to throw this out there because the Game of the Year edition has all the included DLC, which is a few costumes and some extra bosses to jump on too. So you can get the entire package. Now, whether we'll see a sequel of this game, I'm not too sure. From Software is obviously busy with things like Elden Ring, and whether Dark Souls will continue, I'm not sure. But you can get a little different taste of that From Software gold and pick up one of the most highly praised games that's been out for the past few years. So be sure to pick it up when you have the chance.
The next game we have is Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville. The game is on Microsoft Store, which means the game is going to be digital. And the game is currently on sale for $6, dropping all the way from $30. The game is not going to be that different from previous versions that you played, except for some brighter visuals. However, the game is still famous for its simple and cartoon characters, which make it a shooting game for all ages. It's still a competitive shooting game that focuses on online play. However, this time the game introduced a story mode that you can play by yourself or with your friends. The story is okay overall in this story mode, but it's fun to have the option to explore the new worlds and collect some cosmetics and collectible for your characters along the way. What you will notice is that the campaign is fun and simple while providing a little challenge that will increase a little as you progress, and eventually when you fight the big boss, it will reach the epic of the challenge. There are also a lot of side quests that offer some platformers or some silly mini games, such as challenging someone to eat the cake faster and stuff like that that were not required to be included in the first place in a shooter game. So having these extra stuff is definitely a plus. The downside is in the online play, which is weird for a game that is focused on online competitions. The matchmaking is not very equivalent. More often than not, one team would be a lot stronger than the other, which is strange for a game made by EA that has a lot of knowledge in this area. Luckily, some patches improve the issue for the most part, but it still happens every once in a while. Another thing, some special abilities are not working properly online. For example, if you place a mine, it might not explode even if the enemy stepped on it. But these issues should be fixed in future updates. However, even with these issues, the game still achieves its main purpose by offering a shooting game that is simple and fun. This game can be a good option for parents who have kids and are looking for a shooting game that is more appropriate for their age. And at $6, the price is definitely right for it, and this is the lowest price we have seen for this game.
We've got a few honorable mentions coming your way. The first is actually for two games in the same franchise. We've got Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and we have Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Both of these are sitting at the Microsoft Store at the same price, $9.99. Now, Marvel Infinite also used to start at $40, and I believe Marvel 3 started at about $30 or so. So these are great ways to get them. Both of them, of course, really iconic, crazy arcade fighting games. Now, the fans are pretty, I would say, divisive on the titles. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is pretty much your more well-rounded title. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, while it does not look great, I think it has one of the best gameplay out there in the entire series. I definitely give both a shot, and you have the option for whatever you want to spend your $10 on. The next honorable mention we have is over at Best Buy. This one's for PGA Tour 2K21. Normally a $60 game, down to $19.99. If you are a golf fan in any way, this is the game to get. So you can stay on top of the nearest pros, the roster, tracks, and clubs, heck, that people are using. It's the nearest golfing simulator that's out there. And like Madden, like NBA, like NHL, these are hopefully paving the way for a yearly release of golf games to kind of give golf fans that kind of hype that a lot of the football and basketball fans have been having. It's $19.99, which is always a great price to get. So if you're ever in the market for any golf game, it's a great opportunity to take advantage of. So go for it.
We hope you enjoyed the video, but before you go, please remember to give us a subscribe. And also let us know in the comment below if you played any of the games that we mentioned.
I posed a question to all my fighting game fans out there. Marvel vs. Capcom has had a few entries out there. Are you more in the camp of that really crazy 3 versus 3 Marvel vs. Capcom 3 style? And while Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is nothing pretty to look at, do you like that more grounded 2-on-2 style to allow more options? I'm more than happy to hear what anyone has to say in the comments.
Thank you, and be sure to check our channel next week for more deals.
See you next week.